So basically what I'm gonna do today is install some HIDs from Zentek. Depending on the vehicle, your setup might be a little bit different. I have these on both my fog lights and my low beams on the TC, and both the low beams and the fog lights I had to set them up differently. So I'm gonna kind of have to figure this out, but first we're gonna pop off this light, which all it's gonna take is this little spring back here. You just take a needle nose pliers, grab it, pull it out, and unhook it. It's just hooked in there, and then you kind of slide this assembly out. So we'll do that first. Boom. That's it. Alright, so these two wires here, you have to wire into your accessory, and it's for that little blue light down there. I don't know how you guys can see that. There's a little blue light in there. It's for that. Got to undo these two bolts right here, I'm assuming, or at least one of them, and it's going to release this little spring mechanism. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Yep, there we go. I needed to do one. Alright, so remove the little plastic piece. If you don't have the headlight in already, there's these bolts right here. Right there, there's two more on the bottom. You just undo those, and these two panels right here split from each other, and it's the clamp. It's how you clamp it in. One of them, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this or not yet, but we're going to try to. You don't want to touch these with your hands, especially not the HID. You can fry it, but basically I'm going to actually disconnect it from the ballast because I don't need it connected yet until it's secured in. Alright, so you kind of have to fight that clamp in there. Let's see. You can't really see it. But you just undo this one over here, and this piece right here pops out, and it tucks underneath another one that you'll see. Just take a look at it before you do it, before you pop it off. But anyway, you got to fight it in. It's in there now. It's not that hard. Just a little bit of brain power. So, let's see. The next deal is getting the ballast all set up. And so, I'm gonna try it with you guys, but it's pretty easy. The connectors are pretty obvious. Sometimes only certain connectors are needed. Sometimes all of them are needed. But just plug them all in. Alright, so this is a 3-prong connector that we kind of have to hook everything up to. Take this. I just want to work with this one light right now. Alright, so we have a 3-prong connector. And if you can see this over here, we have 3 prongs left to use. And I think it's just going to be kind of like, let's see which one goes where. I think I'm just basically gonna plug these in. Like so. And then just gonna turn the light on, or turn the car on. Alright, so that way didn't work, so I'm gonna try moving around the prongs a little bit. And look at that. She's coming on, and holy shit is that bright. Alright. So let me show you the proper pronging, I guess. So, God, this is a little tricky. Alright. Let's try and set this over that way. So, you have up here, coming out of the light, that goes to the ballast. You don't have to worry about that. Those just plug right in. Then you have this connector that has two of the prongs. And then the black prong is also shared with the black prong for the high beam, which goes back up into here. Let's see. So basically, that's how you want to set it up. This red prong is high beam red prong. This black prong, which is on the bottom, is the dual ground, I guess you'd want to call it. And then you have the low beam ground. I mean, it's all there. Like, I'm terrible at explaining things, but you can see exactly how it's hooked up. You just have to mess around with the prongs. Once you fit them in correctly, they'll go in. And they'll turn on. Holy shit, that's bright. Will it focus? No. There we go. Oh. No, it wants nothing to do with it. Just want to show you guys real quick. I turned the high beam on. Yes, it works. Yes, we'll get a bluer bulb for that as well, somehow. I don't know, we'll figure something out. But hell yeah. So what we need to do is get the ballast, just the ballast, mounted somewhere. Alright, this is a super awkward angle, but that right there, that's where I decided to mount the ballast. It's on the back side of the front bumper. It's put it in the same place on both sides, just right down there underneath the light. So then we're going to thread basically everything to come up through behind the light. And definitely, let's see, where'd that spring go? We're gonna have to get the spring back in here. Alright. So, wow, holy crap, that's a lot of light. There we go, that's better. So basically, before I put them there, I just took some brake cleaner, put it on a rag, and wiped the spots to make sure I got any dirt off. Because I did use like an M3, like, double-sided tape adhesive thing, like a really strong one, and so hopefully it doesn't fall off. Basically, I showed you guys how I had it hooked up before. You just want to make sure everything goes through the back of where the light sits, and then comes down to stay out of the way. So I'm basically gonna set that up. I gotta move the camera so I have some space. Alright guys, so the last clip you would have seen was either January 1st or January 2nd. It is now January 20th, I believe. 22nd. Jesus. Okay. And I still haven't. The car's just been sitting. I haven't had time to figure out the lights. But essentially, where I remember I left off was this light. Well, it's right there. When the headlights were on, that HID would start up, but this one would not. And so after fussing with the connections forever, trying to make sure everything was like clean and like making a proper connection, I realized inside of here, let's see if you can see those connections, there's two little prongs in there. that you can't see. Well, you can kind of see them. The one on the left here was actually smushed up against the side of this. So every time I tried to plug it in, it would just push itself out of the way. And so it wasn't making connection. Finally figured that out. And it started right up. Yeah, so something stupid like that can happen if you just put... this is actually the second time this happened. I don't know why I didn't think about it. My fog lights on the TC, the same thing happened. I don't know if it just sometimes they happen to come like that from the factory, or I fucked it up somehow. But anyway, it's fixed. I'm gonna get the lights put back in and the bumper on, and then I'll show you what they look like. All right, so they are aimed, probably as good as they're gonna get. I still don't know why they're different colors, but yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That's fucking dope. Jeremy, outro.